Welcome to the Messy the Garage, home of Gimpy Duck currently, and also where I'm going to be starting our little early or late winter, late winter project, and that is tapping the maple trees. Last year, if you remember, I had my dad come down and help me out because I had never done it before, and he let me borrow his buckets and everything because he wasn't tapping his trees last year. Well, this year he does have his buckets, so I had to go get my own. So before I go out to tap the trees, we got a bunch of buckets yesterday, which, by the way, if you happen to need 5-gallon food grade buckets, go to Tractor Supply. They're like $4.99. At Lowe's, they're almost $9. So save yourself some money if you end up needing 5-gallon buckets for whatever reason. So we got, I think, 9 5-gallon food grade buckets yesterday to use for tapping the maples. I don't know if it'll be enough or not, but we're gonna make sure it's enough, at least for now. We can always get more later. But that being said, we like to keep a lid on them, so to help keep the debris out. So what I'm going to be doing is drilling a hole in the lid so that, if I can get one of these done, knock them all over, so we can put the spile tube into the bucket through a hole in the lid. So it'll keep most of the debris and extra water out, but allow the sap in. I got these last year. Have to go back and see if I can find a link for them. I got them on Amazon. I believe it was a 12-pack that I got. There's all sorts of spile sets you can get on Amazon and filtering sets, the works. But I'm going to be, the nice thing about them is you can reuse them. So I'm going to be using these. And then, like I said, I got the 5-gallon buckets. Hopefully Mike's drill has enough battery in it so that I can drill holes in these lids and then go out and drill the trees. So nothing too special here. I have a 1/2-inch paddle bit on here, which should be just enough that those can go in without being too snug to where you have to fight it. So let's see how good I am at this. Usually Mike's does this part of things for me. Well, aside from dropping the bit, that wasn't too hard at all. So, 1 down, 8 to go. Okay, we got our lids drilled, we got our spiles, we got a drill bit for the trees. I've got a helper. We got a hammer.
We got a problem!
Let's fix this problem and then we'll go out to the trees. They think we have food buckets. Sorry, Dax. No food for ya. Go dig in a puddle. Last year, was it Jenny? Kept hanging out with us when we were drilling trees.
Yeah.
Okay, leave those buckets alone, ducks. They're gonna knock them over. So we're doing this a lot earlier than we did last year. This is still January, but it's been a much milder January than what we usually have today. It's 60 degrees, and that's the second time this week that it has been that warm. So hopefully it'll still be okay. Ideally, you want to tap when the daytime temperatures are above freezing, but the night temperatures are below freezing, which obviously it's above right now. But it's actually towards the later in the week. It's supposed to get back to the mid-30s and 40s for the daytime temperatures, so that will be ideal. Our local nature center has already been tapping their trees, so hoping this is a good time and we'll get more than we did last year because it's earlier. So it is very windy out here right now. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully my camera doesn't get knocked over. Hopefully the buckets don't get knocked over. So that's an issue. Last year we had to tie them to the tree. And I don't really know where the thing is that we did that with last year. I'll have to go look. But we'll see how it goes. All right, let's get tapping. You ready to tap, sir? Okay. Okay. Let's see how we do, how it goes. It's really windy. Hopefully you can hear me. I think this is the hole where we tapped last year.
We should do.
So I'm gonna just kind of go beside it a little bit. You want to go through the outer bark, but not the inner bark. So there's kind of a sweet spot there. Woo, sorry. The wind's blowing my platform here. All right.
Here's two.
Thank you.
I can hammer and do video at the same time.
Well, watch where you're videoing and I'll let you hammer the next one. It's far enough in to hold. See if it's enough to get some flow going.
I'm not really sure how much we'll get this year, but we got lots last year. Hey, ducks and chickens. What about that rolly? Make sure it doesn't roll away. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
Jenny,
You
Jen,
joining
Jen.
us again? Hey, Jenny. Did you come to join us again? Did you come to join us?
Oh, sweet baby Jenny.
Let's see. This one we did lower.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So let's get that one going. I might think.
Either the battery's dying or that's all over the bark. I think the battery's not doing so hot. I think I need another battery.
Yeah. Would you like me to pause?
Yes, please. Well, I think we got the drill issue fixed, hopefully. So I went ahead and I have this one tapped and that one tapped. I don't think they're running yet. So I'll have to come back and check. I'm not sure if I got the depth quite right. We'll have to wait and see. Like I said, I'm not an expert here. This is only my second time. And last year my dad helped. So we'll see how it goes. This is that big, one of those big red maples that we have in the backyard. And then that one over there. I'm probably going to put 3 buckets on each of these. And then back behind the barn on the other side of the fence, we have several sugar maples that I will tap as well. We had drips. Well, I've got both of these trees tapped now. All but one of them was dripping a moment ago, and that one I think wasn't deep enough, so I just made it a little bit deeper. I'll check it again. So we're off to a good start. Now I just got to go do the ones behind the barn, which is a little bit of trek because I have to go around the fence to get there. But we'll get it done. You can see where the woodpeckers have been going crazy on this tree, and it is sapping all over the place. So hopefully this will be a nice one. Is she trying to get your attention over there? Or is she trying to eat your apple?
Mommy, she just climbed on the
Yes, they have a bad habit of that, don't they? You are not helping. You are not helping. Daisy. Daisy, you are not being helpful. That might be an issue. What are you doing? She wasn't very helpful when I was tapping it either. Kept sticking her face in my face. You goober. This is not snacks for you. Demelza, are you gonna be good? Are you gonna be good, Demelza? You're busy eating chips and watching kids, huh? Are you gonna leave my buckets alone? Yeah, you just eat all the potato chip leaves. Daisy, you were gonna get your nose stuck. I thought curiosity killed a cat. Apparently it applies to goats too. Hey! Hey! I decided to walk by the apple trees and just take a peek at how things are looking with, well, for one, fence is not up right now, so to see if the deer have been destroying it, and also to see if these warm days have been waking up my bulbs a little early. And look what I found! My allium bulbs are starting to sprout. Hopefully that's not a bad thing. Alliums are a little bit frost hardy, I think. So hopefully that's fine. But the daffodils are not up yet, which I think is a good thing.
Okay.
Drake, what are you doing? What are you doing, Drake? Here we go again. New year, same story. So, ducks typically lay their eggs first thing in the morning before sunrise, which makes it so much easier. You don't have to go hunting around the yard like you do for chickens when they get rebellious. Like you, Rita. You've been rebellious, haven't you? Well, this morning, when I was taking care of the animals, Charlotte, she hasn't been giving us consistent eggs, which cayugas aren't really known for being super heavy layers. So, that's fine. But I noticed this morning when I was coming back from feeding the animals that she was kind of following me and squawking and acting like she was waiting for me to go inside. So I kind of stood and watched. And she came over here under the pine tree, which seems to be the favorite place, over here in this bamboo grass. And apparently she was holding it. She's not the only one. Look what I found. Oh, looky here. A whole rainbow nest of eggs. I've been looking for this. I had a feeling. So now I need to go get my basket and collect these. I hear Rita back there. I bet she's got one too. That or she's coming to this one. We'll see. Okay, those 4 white duck eggs were already in the basket, but the rest of those are from my nest. And also, I have no idea where these green eggs are coming from. You've seen in videos past, I do have 2 supposed olive eggers, but they've never laid green eggs before. They've always laid pink, and chickens are not supposed to change what color they lay. Well, once they lay a color, that's their color. So I have no idea where these green ones are coming from or who's laying them. I have 1 blue egg layer, but those are not blue, those are green. So interesting. Well, it is about 40 degrees out, so still kind of chilly, but definitely above freezing. All the snow that we got this weekend is starting to melt. I just came out to check on these maple taps. I tried to brush off a bunch of the snow that was on them so that it wouldn't melt and get into the bucket. Won't hurt it necessarily, but it will add a lot of water moisture content that will then need to be boiled off for longer. But I don't know. Let me flip the camera around so you can see. We are getting some drips today. I don't think I came out here yesterday to check it. It was a bit colder yesterday. But yeah, over freezing during the day, we'll get the sap running. These are the sugar maples in the back. They are, well, of course this is the one tree that it's literally dripping with sap. But it seems to be flowing really good too. I think these might be flowing better than the red maples actually, which, is probably part of the reason that they're more desirable for syrup. But yeah, I don't know if you can tell with the shadows, but that is a lot of sap. just dripping down the trees. Oh, here you can see on this side. All of this is sap. Lots and lots of it. These ones I did not come back here and get the snow off the top the other day, so they may have got a little bit more melted in there. We'll see. I think it's supposed to be mostly in the high 30s, low 40s this week during the days, so hopefully those will start filling up at least enough to do one batch, because I don't know, I have to go look. I don't know how long they are going to be good just sitting in the buckets. I suppose it has been pretty cold and freezing at night, so they might be fine, but I'll have to look that up. Let's see how much is in there currently. So there's just a little bit in there right now. See if we can focus in there. Not a lot yet. It's a little slow coming. Like I said, hopefully the warmer temperatures this week will speed that up. This is that other red maple. This one has a fairly decent amount in it. So that one's doing pretty good. This one also has a bit of a continuous stream here instead of just drips. So that one's coming out a little more. All right, back behind the barn, this is a sugar maple. Look at that. The bucket is half full. Whoop, and dripping out the end here. Better get that back in. Don't want to waste all that precious sap. So it appears that I'm going to need to start cooking up a batch soon. That one sugar maple has a lot more than I expected. This is the only downside to tapping the sugar maples, is having to walk this long way around the back of the fence to get to them. But yeah, so that one's got about half a bucket full. The red maples were a lot less. Some of them were negligible. And some had just a little bit, maybe a ½ inch. So they're not super sappy yet. But the sugar maple's doing better, flowing faster. So if I combine them all, then I should have enough for cooking down a batch soon. Okay, so we've been tapping the maple trees for a couple of weeks now, and I apparently did not record any footage of the actual cooking down process, but I did last year record some of that, so you can watch this video up here if you would like to see a little bit more of that. But now that we're several batches in, I wanted to kind of show you what we've been getting from our sap harvest this year and how they're just a little bit different. The first batch that we did ended up kind of a light amber, almost like a honey color. See that really clear. You'll notice that at the bottom is just the maple sands where some of the sugar crystallized. Some people strain that out. I don't. It's purely aesthetic. It tastes just fine still, so I don't worry about that extra step. But this was from our first batch. It's a little bit thin, but really nice and clear, kind of light colored. And then after that, it got a little bit darker. That's more like what I'm kind of used to seeing in the stores. So that was really nice. But something I did notice is that because of the weird warm temperatures we've been having really early this year, it's really been affecting the sugar content. And I'm not the only one to notice this. My dad was talking to some mapling places up where he lives, and they're noticing the same thing. Because the sugar content is so much lower, that they're having to cook it longer, not getting as much syrup from the same quantity of sap, and also it's affecting the color. Last year I could cook down a whole big, like 4.5 gallon bucket and get 2 of these jars with a little bit of extra. This year I'm not. I'm only getting 1 jar and a little bit of extra. So definitely the quantity per gallon of sap is lower this year because of that sugar content. And then also, if you notice these at the end, the further we've gotten into the season, the darker it's gotten. That's like almost black. You can't even see through that. It's really, really dark. And then another thing that I've noticed because of that really low sugar content, by time you get the temperature where it's actually syrup, enough of the water has evaporated to where the sugar content is strong enough for it to be considered syrup, there is so little left that it scorches really, really fast. So I actually have 3 jars here that have turned to caramel because it started to caramelize in the pan before it got up to the right temperature for syrup. It was the craziest thing because the temperatures have been odd, and I don't know, just the whole cooking process. But like you'll notice, I think this one, like, it doesn't even. It's so thick. It barely moves. It's like molasses. This one's not quite as thick, but still, oops, sorry. Still pretty thick. But I will tell you, this stuff that got cooked into like more of like a caramel because it's really thick and really rich and dark, actually really good too. It's like the consistency of a really thick caramel, but it tastes exactly like a toasted marshmallow. It's really good, guys. So if you ever want some like toasted marshmallow syrup for your coffee that's completely natural instead of fake, burn some maple syrup. So anyways, that is our maple syrup harvest so far this year. Hopefully we'll still get a little bit more, although I did notice just today that the red maple is starting to bud, which means it's pretty much done for the season. However, the sugar maples are still going. So hopefully I'll still be able to at least get a couple batches. Like I said, it's been getting warm really early this year. This time last year, I hadn't even tapped the first tree yet. So it's really early this year, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see you next time.